Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and in this exciting unboxing video, we are reaching back into the past and taking a look at a beloved solo game called Legendary Encounters, an alien deck building game. This is published by Upper Deck and was originally released in 2014, and that's exactly the version that you're taking a look at right now. The other thing that's really cool to note about this particular game, and the reason I thought it was timely to show you the components inside this box, is because there has been expansions added into Legendary Encounters over the years. There was a Legendary Encounters, an alien deck building game expansion that came out in 2016, and more recently, even right now, there's a new expansion being released for Legendary Encounters called Alien Covenant, which is going to add even more content into the game. So I'm really excited to dive back into this one. So what we're going to do is flip this box over on the back, take a look at what this game is all about for those of you that are unfamiliar with this one, and then we'll take a look at the components inside. Legendary Encounters, an alien deck building game, is a cooperative game set in the alien universe, and players will take on the roles of commander, gunner, synthetic, or any of the 10 role cards while recruiting powerful allies such as Ripley, Corporal Hicks, or Christie the Mercenary. Legendary Encounters will take players on a terrifying journey through all 4 feature films: Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, and Alien Resurrection, as they work together to complete challenging mission objectives. Scan rooms, attack Xenomorphs, and avoid facehuggers, and try to avoid the ultimate death, becoming the victim of a ravenous chest burster. If a player's fate is destined to this horrific demise, then that player will take on the role of an Xenomorph and try to stop the other players from completing their mission objectives. Work together or die trying. Welcome to Legendary Encounters, an alien deck building game. You'll see on the back of the box here that is a 1 to 5 player game, so solo playable right out of the box, and clocks in at about 30 to 60 minutes to play. The very first thing you're going to see when you open up the box is the rule book for an alien deck building game, and this book clocks in, along with the quick reference guide set up on the back and the Your Turn breakdown. It's going to come in at 26 pages in total, a little less if you take out the credits and the art at the back there, so about 24 or so. But it's not a full-size rulebook in terms of a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet, so it won't take you as long to read it. And I'll go through some of the pages here so we get an idea as to how this rulebook is laid out. Now remember, this game came out quite some time ago, so standards of rulebooks have definitely changed. So some of this stuff is going to be rules or written in a way that makes a lot more sense for back in the day. Things have come along quite a bit since then, so take this with a grain of salt. We got the game summary here: how to win your first game, hidden enemies, enemy strike players, roles, and alien players. You've also got some awesome artwork as well. You're laid out. The other thing that's really cool this game, you'll see very soon, is there's actually an included playmat for the game. That's a really nice addition to this thing. So your first game, you use these cards. It tells you exactly what cards to use in order to get ready to play the game. You've got your game set up here, and again, all of the different special things you need to note on each of the different cards here, whether it be the hive or location and objective cards. There's a bunch of things to reference here. So I'm just going to go through a couple of these pages so you can kind of get a gist of the rules here. And you can feel free to pause the screen if you want to actually take a read through any of it, but this should give you a rough idea as to what to expect here. Now, I'm not seeing a lot of breaks for artwork, so there is quite a bit of reading going into this one, but from my understanding, the additional rules section starting here on page 14, getting into some more clarifications, things you'll want to reference, and then of course iconography within the game. There is some art here, but it's fairly minor and shows up only when necessary, like when referencing cards that it's specifically talking about. You'll see it's kind of got like a watermarked alien in the background there as well, which is quite hard to see. You might be able to pick that up on camera, but I'm not 100% sure if it comes through all that well. But that's essentially it. And of course, if you want to adjust the difficulty and go ahead with that, this will show you what to do. You got your sections here for when players die, how to handle that, table talk and etiquette, all that good stuff. So I'm really looking forward to diving into this one, because this is a game that I completely did not get into when it originally came out. So I've gone ahead now and I've laid out the playmat, the neoprene mat that comes inside the base box here. You'll see everything is clearly identified. You're easily able to determine where things should be on this map. It's actually quite nice. So you've got the objective area here, location area here, sergeant, your HQ, combat zone operations, your airlock, med lab, weapons locker, power station, ventilation shafts. You'll see there's scanning going on below all of those. On the far side over here, we'll move over in a second because you're only seeing just over 2/3 of the playmat. There's a little bit more to the far right, but I really like, even though this game came out so far back, the fact there's a nice neoprene mat inside the base box and it's not a separate add-on. That's something that's just absolutely awesome. And even games to date still don't do this as part of the core experience. And honestly, this is a huge plus. And here's a shot of the entirety of the right side of the playmat. You'll see the hive here, the hatchery, the strikes area, discarded strikes, barracks, dead characters, you certainly don't want that happening, dead enemies, you want that to happen, and discarded hazards and events. You got your turn order even listed right here on the playmat as well. Again, everything's really nice, animated well in terms of the actual graphics on the playmat itself. Quality-wise, it actually still holds up to date. When I look at this, I don't think that it looks like a game that came out when it actually did. It actually looks like something more recent and still holds up very well right now. So the artistry within the game is very well done. Obviously, it's quite graphic as it is Alien and people are going to get killed by this thing. So you're going to see some cards that have some pretty graphic deaths on them. That's kind of to be expected. But honestly, very happy with the playmat here. So now let's go ahead and dive into the major component within the box, and that's the cards. So first off, inside of the game box, you'll obviously notice earlier on when I showed you that there was a lot of space inside the box. And this is fantastic because it means when you pick up expansions, which there are 2 of them, and one of them's very recently being released, can all go inside the core box, which is great. You don't have to keep everything outside of it. And inside the core box, you're going to find yourself a whole bunch of dividers to keep everything all organized. So you got the legendary dividers to be used. And of course, if you want to, you can use the top section, which is in white, and you actually use a marker to denote what areas you're dividing your things into. This will make things really easy to not only organize in the box, but also be able to rifle through things as you merge expansions in and out of the content that you have. So again, dividers included in the core box, something that doesn't always happen with deck building games, but very nice to see. So let's go ahead and take a look at the very first pack of cards. These pack of cards are not small. There's a lot, and there's actually 6 of them inside this box. So let's go through these again. I'm not going through them in any particular order, nor am I going to be able to really speak to the iconography on what I'm seeing on the cards, as I'm going to go through these. And again, being that as a deck builder, you're going to see some cards that are repetitive because, of course, you're building out your deck in this game. So you got things like the Grunt, you've got the Specialist character here, and we'll move along as we've got a number of those. You have your orders, Captain of the Ship, Teams of 3, and I'm not going to go ahead and read every single title. I'll give you more of an overview of the cards. You can take a look at the abilities on the bottom here as well if you want to stop the screen just to read them, but the artwork's pretty cool to just take a look at here as well. Definitely don't want to see that behind you. And again, these are all speaking to the feature films, of course. So you're going to see a lot of scenes in this that are very reminiscent, if not exact replications of what you saw in some of the films, which is pretty awesome. Of course, all animated in this particular case. So very cool. And I am absolutely digging the style of it as well. I'm really glad they went for more of an animated cartoonish look versus kind of the actual pictures. Like, that just looks so awesome. Oh, that's great. This is definitely one of those games you could easily just kind of peruse through the cards and enjoy the artistic flair of them and be happy just with that alone. So this is, there's a bunch here. My hand on the right is getting pretty full. Oh, that's a fantastic card. That's awesome. I really like that it just like comes out of the card itself, and like, that's really cool. So it doesn't even matter that there's an area here for an ability. If the art needs to come out there, it's going to. And it does that at a number of different places. That's really awesome, actually. It's very smart design. You're not kind of limiting yourself to just the box or window that the art's sitting inside of. So it certainly opens things up. Oh my, you really don't want one of those things in your face. That's like the worst thing ever. Oh, so many bad things that happened. Oh my goodness. Deep gashes. You certainly don't want any of that to happen. This looks like it's absolutely, like, again, I have no idea why I have not given this a shot before or got around to playing this one. I feel like that's some kind of a crime. I might have to go to jail for it, but I'm really looking forward to diving into this game. All right, so here we go with the next deck of cards. Again, just as large, and there's some cards here that are the same as ones we saw before. These might be exactly the same because, again, remember, you can play with multiple people. So being that's a deck builder, they might actually be exactly the same. So I'm going to grip through these at a quicker pace because this is looking like the same. I really don't want to go by too quickly in case, yeah, it is a duplication there. So again, deck builders have this going on with them. Of course, you know, you're buying the cards, you're adding certain cards to your deck, all that good stuff. And so you're going to have multiples of these cards. So I've gone ahead and grabbed all those. So you can see here, of course, even the same with all the nasty cards. So this is literally the exact same as the cards we've already seen. Duplication there. We do have one more deck of cards in the top section or top row of the box. So we'll take a look at that. It could be the same again, because I'm guessing these are all the player cards, or there might be a difference. And it indeed looks like another set of the same cards. So this is to be expected with the deck builder, as I've mentioned before. So I'm just going to kind of rip through all these. Yep, this is exactly the same all the way through. Okay, so we've gone through 3 decks that quickly. That's pretty nice, right? So we have 3 more full-size decks to go through in the bottom section of the box. Those are likely to be different. Now we're talking. Here's a brand new deck to go through with some new artwork to take a look at. So this is going to be quite exciting. So I'm just trying to get my fingers in place here because, again, this deck is huge. But look at the artwork on these guys. These Xenomorphs look awesome. The cards look so good. That's fantastic. Lovely drool. Just love it. Oh man, this is gonna be so good. And it's hilarious because recently I actually watched the original Alien movie. I think it was about a week to a week and a half ago. And so I'm already in the mood to dive right into this thing. So again, these are very different cards. I'm not sure if they have a difference in terms of the card. They all have the same back. So until I learn more about the game, these might be the cards that just kind of come out like event cards, essentially, that just mess with you because there's all kinds of different text and abilities on these things, but they all sound terrible. Okay, yeah. Leadership Vacuum, No Remorse. How Do We Kill It? Inner Mouth, yeah. Unstoppable. But you have My Sympathies, You're All Gonna Die. So a lot of this stuff too are like quotes straight from the movies as well, which is awesome. Face Hugger, ugh, don't want that happening. Close Call. Some of these cards are looking like they're familiar to the other cards we saw earlier. So I think these might be duplication in terms of some of the cards that could potentially destroy you. And some of these are different too. Somebody Help. Oh, Damaged Hand. Ow. That looked brutal. Right through the forehead. That's always fun. Ooh, here's some events. Some event cards. Interesting. So how does this work? Drone deck. Is that what it says? Yeah, drone deck. So we're going to have locations, I think, at some point here show up. Chest bursters we've seen. Here's a location card. Yes, the Nostromo itself. SOS. Oh, objectives. Okay. So based on whichever one we're playing here, these are the objectives you're going after. Yes, yes. Hadley's Hope, Lost Colony. I just think it's absolutely awesome you get to play through all the feature films. Like, that's just super cool. It's a great way to do it. And I'm really looking forward to taking a look at those expansions now. Now that I'm seeing these cards, I'm already drawn in. Like, the theme is just dripping off these cards. Really, really impressed. Now, these secret cards, I've seen a couple of those already. I don't know how they work necessarily. Again, they have all the same backs, although it looks like some of these can have some black backs. Maybe that's for the story-based cards or the objective cards, but got some good agenda cards here. Collaborate, Efficient. Very interesting indeed. Inquisitive, Resourceful. jeez. Those are pretty brutal. Okay, so that is going to be that deck. There's still 2 more to go through. And it looks like we're getting into another deck of cards, a big one. So we'll go ahead and start off here with the Commander, Report for Duty. Look at this stuff. This is great. The artwork is awesome. The coloring's great. These are some of the major avatars within the game or characters you can likely be. Mercenary, Priest, Researcher, Scout, Synthetic, Captain Dallas. Oh, these are specific to the characters, I'm guessing. Chief Engineer cards. Yep, that makes sense. Navigation. Warrant Off's Party. That's so cool. Last Warrior of the Nostromo. That's an wow, that is a cool looking card. That is so nice. Get him to Medical. Critical Analysis. Split in 2. Stay Frosty. Close Encounters. Let's go Marines. That's aggressive. Power Loader. They're all around us. Yes, yes indeed. Oh, I love the art. It's so good. It's perfect, perfect, perfect. Just nailed it. Remember the Dead. Barcode. Medical Attention. There's so many cards. My hand's starting to strain from just trying to hold them all. Ultimate Sacrifice. That's a card that just glows. Looks awesome. Secret Mission. Play the Angles. Gun for Hire. Incredible stuff. Really, really looking forward to giving this a go. I can't say that enough. So that is the 5th deck of cards in the game. There is 1 more. And the last deck here starts off with the Sergeant. And you'll remember there's a Sergeant spot on the actual playmat down below. There's a number of these cards here. Part of the SOS. Number of those cards. Ooh, a Hazard. Interesting indeed. Backs are the same. You got event cards here. The Egg. Enemy Alien Egg. A couple of these cards with their abilities on the bottom here. Ventilation Seal. Sometimes it's good to be hiding in those. Sometimes it's not. Nice! We got the cat! It's amazing. Event 2 Mouth. Oh, it's so cool. Those cards look so awesome. Ash. Really, really pumped to give this a shot. So I want to know, first off, in the comments below, let me know, this game has been around for some time. Did you enjoy this one? Is this one that still intrigues you? Maybe watching this video makes you want to get it off the shelf and give it a go again. Did you enjoy it when it first came out? Did you get into it right away? Did you come into it later like I have? I mean, I've come into it much, much, much later. It was always on my radar, but I really wasn't sure if the theme landed, and recently, to be totally honest, the game Nemesis actually pushed me in this direction because it was such a fantastically built game. And then this one is also highly, highly ranked in the solo community as being a really great alien representation for a solo game. So this is really what drove me towards this one, and the age really has nothing to do with it for me. I could play a game as old as the hills, and as long as the gameplay is fantastic, that is what matters. It's a bonus that the game still holds up looks-wise to this day. Still, this card game looks fantastic. So yeah, that essentially does it. Those are the 6 different decks inside of the box. And you can see here, once the 6 decks have been removed, there's lots of extra space. You got a couple things here you can space things out with if you'd like to. Of course, there's going to be probably enough cards in this core set to probably fill from about here to probably about here. And then once you add in some expansions, especially the 2 ones that are released, then that will probably start going into this area over here. But it still allows for more. So you never know, there might be more coming, seeing as they are adding to it even in 2019, which is awesome with Covenant. So that's fantastic to see, meaning that there might be life even beyond Covenant when it releases. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Covenant might be landing or already has landed in stores as of right now. It's right, I believe it's on the ships, like being delivered to stores. So it's something I'm going to be keeping an eye out for as well. But I need to get this original base game to the table myself and see how much I enjoy it before moving into the expansions. But that is going to conclude the unboxing for Legendary Encounters. So thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, keep on rolling solo.